Good morning, everyone. No firewood today. Anyways, I'm Jeremy. Welcome back to the JB Woodworks and Stuff channel. Today, later on in the afternoon, the girls are coming home. I get to go down to the airport and pick them up, and we're going to go out and have a dinner to celebrate them coming home and Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And Becky's birthday was Thursday, the day they flew out. So we didn't really get a chance to celebrate that at all. So tonight's dinner will be for everything. But for right now, I'm going to give you a little walk around of the garden and show you how that's doing. The wife's peonies are they're in full bloom here, but they weren't trained very well. We didn't keep up on it this year. The hoop that we have to support them isn't really tall enough, so they grow really tall and the flowers get so heavy, but they're a beautiful plant. Over here you got some lilies that are starting to bloom. I don't know what she's got going on over in this garden. We didn't plant as many annuals and stuff this year. Just got so much stuff going on right now, but looks like she's got a little miniature rose there. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure what she knows the plants better than I do. I've got more lilies back there. They're going to be loaded, and some over here that are a little behind. Like I said, I'm sure she'll give you a walk around at some point, and she knows what or probably all of them are. I'm not really sure, but anywho, over on this other little flower bed, we have more lilies and some marigolds. So got some lumber here. I'm supposed to be building trellises and stuff. It's just that darn pesky firewood business that keeps me pretty busy, and I don't really have time. So anyways, we're coming to the garden here. Over here we have potatoes in these boxes. You might have watched the video when my daughter and I planted them. See, right here we have peas growing, and peas over here, because that's where one of the trellises is supposed to go, right across this walkway. But we have some cabbage here that looks like it's starting to develop pretty good. Starting to make little heads down in there. More potatoes there. And our pepper plants are budding like crazy, so we might actually get peppers this year. But you'll notice I'm not super impressed with the straw as a mulch to keep weeds down, because look at all the weeds in here. I mean, it needs to be weeded pretty badly. We were trying to come up with a way to save us a lot of work, because that's the hardest part. I mean, you have time getting the garden in, and then and of course harvest time is busy, but the weeding, keeping up with it with full-time jobs in the firewood business, it's nearly impossible. But I think maybe it just wasn't down heavy enough. I might weed it and put some more on, because I do have more straw. Because over here, the tomato plants, they look like they're holding up pretty well. There's a few weeds up through, but not too bad. Same thing with the variety of lettuce we have here, and kale. You know, there's a couple weeds, but I could live with that. And then here we have beets that are started, and here we have radishes, and there's more peas planted on each side of this for another trellis. The peas don't look like they're doing so good over here. Not very many of them. And I believe there's cucumbers there. Now this box is supposed to be green beans, a different variety than that box. That's green beans. Most of them came up, but the other variety really didn't. So the wife said she has more seed. She's going to replant this box here. Might just till it right in quick, because it's all weeds at this point. I don't think we really have to worry about the weeds too much. She's got the green beans planted so thick in here. Weeds won't be able to grow as long as the beans will. We might have to thin them out a little bit, but But anyways, our tomatoes are getting there, so they're starting to come up through the hoops here, which is good. They started growing pretty quickly in the last week or so, which is great. And look at this, we got peppers. I can't believe that. Look at that. It's awful early. A couple of them. These are all hot peppers over here. The other one bed over on the other side was bell peppers. You got to keep them separated from each other so the bell peppers don't end up hot. Now, for some reason, habanero plants, these here, they always seem so stunted. They take forever to grow. But again, as you can see here, the weeds are getting pretty crazy. We're gonna have to, I'll have to probably weed this, and I'll put more straw down because they're established plants, so it's not gonna hurt it. The onions, we'll see how they go. We don't usually have that great luck with onions. They just don't grow very big. But then over here we have more potatoes in these two boxes, and both of these, well, this box here, believe it or not, was all leftover potatoes from last year, small ones that I just buried them right in the ground with all the long, they had really long like plants coming off them already. But anyways, I buried everything and they came up like crazy. So I'm gonna be able to hill them once here, and then I'll have to bring in some more soil to hill them again. But there's different varieties over here. You can tell the leaves are a little different color and stuff too. But then we got the flower boxes up here. We always do flower boxes on this fence, and that's we try to do the bright colors because we try to bring the pollinators in here, you know, get the bees and stuff to come in for the garden. And then over here is the garlic, which I planted last fall. I think it was probably October or November. Probably November. Now there's no weeds in here, but I put a thick bed. I mean, there's like a 4-inch thick bed of straw down, and the reason why I did that is just to insulate them over the winter, to kind of protect them some. Then over here you can see there's a couple big weeds or something under here trying to grow up through this fabric, but they're not being very successful. But these are like zucchini and summer squash. The wife has an idea of putting poles in the ground here to train them up poles, and we'll see how that goes. May work fine, I don't know. And here's my asparagus, which is all gone to seed, but it was the first year. I did get some asparagus out of the garden. I got some weeds in here that we don't need, but it's like milkweed of some kind. Some of this I got some manure and stuff from a local farm, a cow farm, so a few years ago, and boy, that stuff grows everything, but a lot of weeds too. So now that asparagus has gone to seed. The oldest is in the back. Every year I plant more. Actually got a little here. I'm late this year, but I do have some asparagus to put in this very front section here. It's like 10 plants. And here's a different, it's either zucchini and summer squash. It's one or the other, but and here it looks like we have a little potatoes growing up from last year. Must have missed a couple. And we have, there are carrots coming up in rows here. I can see some of them, but again, the straw is not really working the greatest. It might be helping a little, but I guess if you compare that with the one where the green beans didn't grow over there, there's certainly more weeds in that box with nothing. Well, you got to try new things, I guess, right? So anyways, I'm going to turn on the sprinklers because it's like 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. It's the first morning in, I don't know, last four days or so that I'm not doing firewood. And I've been down there at 5:30 in the morning almost every day doing firewood. So, but we have a simple sprinkler setup right now, which some of that lumber is supposed to be, when I build the trellises, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm just going to build a board up high in the garden off a couple of beds from the trellises over to this outside wall. I want to put the hoses on the top of that and the sprinklers up high. That way they're when the plants get higher and stuff, they still get adequate water. Plus the sprinklers aren't on the ground in the way of trying to mow or any of that stuff. So then in this back pen, we have corn coming up, which we're really late getting in. And down here we have like a winter squash variety. There's another one over on the other end. And these are all sunflowers down through here, which you got to go through and just thin them out. One package of seeds does way more than we needed. So, but anyways, that's a little look of the garden. Come over to this side without getting wet, hopefully. And you can see in there's our rhubarb. You got 2 big rhubarb plants in there. And then there's just like a compost bin over there, which I gotta turn that, and I'm gonna end up using that compost to finish filling in the rhubarb bin, so I can break those plants up here in the next year or 2 and have 4 rhubarb plants in there instead. But so anyways, that's a look at the garden, and I gotta start a different project now, which the wife has been wanting me to do, and we got materials to do it quite a while ago, but been so darn busy. So I figured she'll see some progress on it when she comes home today. So stay tuned for the next video and you'll be able to watch some of that. All right, take it easy. Bye.